So today I'm going to do this useful little pheasant tail here. It's a flashback pheasant tail, and at the moment we have some nice hatches of blue-winged olives coming off the rivers, and I often find personally that this is the most productive time for this little pheasant tail is during this time of the year when we got some blue wings coming off, as I said. So to begin, I got a 611 size 14 Dohiku hook in the vise, and I got a 2.5mm Countersunk tungsten bead on the hook. Obviously if you're tying, you can do these in quite a number of sizes and just alternate your hook size and your bead size as you wish. But for me, fishing nice skinny glides and stuff like that in water about a foot and a half deep, where I'm finding most of my trout at the moment, this is the kind of hook size and bead size that I prefer for this fly at the moment. So for the tail, I'm going to put in 3 fibres of cock pheasant tail feather. I'm just going to tie them out the back of the hook there, like so. Tidy that up. Now for my rib, I'm using some fine copper wire 0.09 in diameter, and I'm just going to attach that in. And then for my flashback, I'm going to use some pearl mylar. Now you can also use different colour mylars for this, but for this particular one that's working for me at the moment, pearl seems to be the trout's favourite at the moment, so I'll stick to what's working. Now for the body, I'm going to do this in 2 stages. Okay, some people can have some issues with tapering the body of this fly because we've added some bits in here. The back end of the fly has already bulked up a little bit, so there is a little slight weight I can't normally like to use to get around. I'm going to start with 2 fibres of pheasant tail and just bring my thread down to where I want the body to start, and then come up just up there for a moment and leave it hanging out of the way. So with those 2 fibres, I'm going to begin the bottom half of the body. I'm going to take it easy, not put too much pressure on those, and I'm just going to start winding the body up. Nice even touch and turns, 2 pheasant tails up the body. Come up to, as I say, the top of the hill. Come up to around there and just tie those 2 off. A little bit of a slip there, it's okay. Secure them in, tidy them up, and cut away your waist. Now to continue that nice taper, the nice natural taper we're looking for, I now select 3 cock pheasant tail feathers, cock pheasant fibres off cock pheasant tail, should I say, and I'm going to add in those 3 there, and just come back onto the previously tied in ones, secure it in and tidy it all up there. And start now with your 3. I find just doing the 2 and the 3 just gives a nice taper on that fly, and stop a bit short of the eye because we're going to add in some other materials there now in a while. Tie it off well, plenty of room there, and take away the waist. Now for the flashback, we take our mylar and we pull it up the back of the nymph. It can slip side to side, you have some room for adjustment. It's one of those things, just take your time and get it right. So get it up the back, tie it off. Now I do find it's handy not to cut off this waist just yet, because that can slip and slide, thread can slip off, things can happen, wire can break. These are all regular occurrences in fly tying, as we all know. So by cutting that off now, and then something happens, well then you're going right back to the start to put in that. But leaving it long, it still leaves me enough room to unwind and re-pull that back up over the new pheasant tail or new wire, whatever is needed. So I'm going to take my fine copper wire and I'm going to give that a nice ribbon up the body. Nice even turns up the body of that nymph. just like so, and come up there to where the mylar is tied off. Couple of turns to secure it in. Make sure it's all well secured, because that's your body now finished. Take away your wire, and now we can cut away our waist. Everything's nicely secured in there. Flashback is coming straight up the middle, has nice segmentation on it, and that is the back for the moment. Now, for the thorax process of this one, we start again. So we're going to do this fly is kind of done in 2 stages. Complete the body, finish it off, and then move on to the other section. So the first thing I'm going to do is put back in my mylar. Now you have the option of, before I cut it off the waist last one, of folding it back. But as I said, I like to cut off, finish the body properly, and then just add it in again. That's just me personally. I'm then going to tie in some strands of cock pheasant. So I'll go lower down on the cock pheasant feather I have, and the ones that are not so productive for tying good bodies. I'll take a nice pinch of those and add them in there too. All to be used in a few moments. Tidy all that up. Okay, a little bit of dubbing here. I'm going to take a small bit of Spectra number 46, and I'm going to add a little pinch into this thorax. Again, as always with dubbing, less is more. Add in a bit. Don't be afraid to take a bit out before you commit to the dubbing to the body. Bring it up there and begin to wind it on. I could do it actually being further down the shank of this fly to get the desired effect I want on the finished product. So, adding in a small bit of Spectra number 46. Just up around the bead. You don't have to be dead packed to the bead, but just enough to cover the majority of it up to there. Okay, we got one more component to add into this fly before we can start complete, and that's a little bit of partridge. Okay, a little bit of natural grey partridge. So basically what I want to do is I want to get a few legs back on the side of this fly when I pull the thorax cover over. So I got a couple of options here. I can strip off a few and tie them in either side to side, or there's another way I like to do them, and it kind of makes it a bit more secure, is I will actually cut the center out of the partridge, and I will just fold it back. So I have just the desired amount of partridge. Like so. So I'll use these top sections for this fly, and then I would get at least 3 or 4 flies out of this entire feather by just completing the same process over and over again. Okay, the small little tip piece I cut out, I'll hold on to that and use it for a small spider at some stage. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie those in there, as you can see, onto the back of the fly like so for a moment, and just tie in on the stem, the tip of the stem where you've just cut off, just for a moment. And even though they'll appear quite long, once we've tied in a stem, we've got it secure, we can then just stroke those blacks slightly to the exact length we want. Okay, now take away your waist, take your pheasant tail and come up the middle of the thorax, splitting those partridge feathers down the middle, roughly even in amount on either side. But because of the way you tied it in with the natural divide in between them, they'll split quite easy and they'll sit in quite easy. Well, we want them sitting back. We don't want them completely tight to the body, in out of the way. We want those to be sticking out a slight bit so there can be a little bit of movement on them. Just get in there, tie to your bead, snip away to the waist, and take your Flashback once again. And secure that in over the top of the pheasant tail, all happening in behind that bead. And a couple of extra turns, put a bit of pressure on that thread. This is where this thread really comes into its own when I'm working in a very small space like that, and I want to really keep things tight. And not only because it's a fine diameter, but it's so strong, I can put a bit of pressure, I can suck all those cut ends in directly behind the bead, and you can really get an amazing finish on it in a tight spot like that on a fly like this with that with my Kevlar thread, Kevlar silk. You'll find it on my website. So I'm going to whip finish that there now for a second. Give it a good tug. As you can see, everything goes in, tucked in, sucked in behind the bead, and even as it is before I put the last thing on, it is quite a tidy finish at the top. Okay, so just to give the fly a little bit of touch, I take some Tommi-Fly number 12, and I'm going to put a little orange collar just in there at the back of the bead, just to give it that little hot spot, little orange hot spot. Just if a trout is following that nymph or having luck of it and can't make up his mind, next thing all of a sudden, bang, he sees that hot spot. There's a good chance he's going to pounce on that little bug. So just tie it on there, a couple of turns to start, and then the way I like to finish off this is I like to put some varnish onto the actual thread. It's a neat way of finishing, again in small spaces, so I don't affect any of those nice loose hackles that I put in there. And with my whip finish, I'm going to whip finish in a nice little orange collar, slide it off. Dolphins hatching at the moment here on the River Nore in County Kilkenny, and that nymph is producing the goods. So get tying, get fishing, and hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.